Good day. This is the Eye of the Storm podcast with the big picture technical update for the S&P 500 being recorded on Saturday, March the 2nd, 2024. Due to the markets really just putting in a very, very difficult position via the futures market, I update the SPX, but the numbers are all the same and the wave count is the same in both markets. But the depth that it went to and how that finishes certain markets are a little bit different. For example, here is this B wave, but a very, very complex, which ended up being a double ABC, but within it, there was double ABCs in both of these sections. And it did present a very complicated picture, but we were able to, and that is with the work that Sasha Goring, my colleague that has come into the trade room and also helps on the analysis, primarily in the NASDAQ. But his addition brought some clarity to me for what was also happening within the S&P via the ES, the futures market. So I'm going to start on this futures chart, and I am going to go out to let me go out all the way just to give a quick review of where we are and what's going on. And I actually don't need to go beyond the daily chart so that I can just see that we still have the primary A wave coming down. So the all-time high that was reached in January of 2022. Of course, it's been exceeded, and I'll go over that in just a moment, but that still remains as a high, and that was 48.08 in the futures market. This initial decline that took us down to the low in October of 2022 still stands as the completion point for primary wave A. So I still use the high in January as the completion point for in cycle degree 3, so the cycle degree 3rd wave. And so that continues to put us in a cycle degree 4th wave correction. And within that cycle degree 4th wave, there will be 3 waves of primary degree, which will be labeled A, B, and C, and the color code is the green. So we have already finished, and that was in October of 2022, the A wave. So we remain within the primary B wave, but in my opinion, we are in the closing moves, the finishing moves of this intermediate C wave. So again, just going back one step, the primary B wave will be consisting of 3 waves of intermediate degree to be labeled A, B, C. So we have intermediate wave A and intermediate wave B as complete. So we'll remain within the intermediate C wave. Within intermediate wave C, there will be 5 waves of minor degree. And those will be labeled in this saddle brown color. And they will be labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we remain within minor wave 5 of intermediate wave C of primary wave B. Now, what sits within minor wave 5? 5 waves of minute degree. And within that, we are done with minute 1, 2, 3, and 4. We were within the minute 5th wave. Now, this minor wave 5, in my opinion, is forming an expanding diagonal triangle. So with that, each of the waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, will all come in as 3. And they would be labeled ABC. Waves 1, 3, and 5, however, will form a zigzag, an ABC zigzag. You remember when we go over corrections, there are 2 forms of 3-wave patterns. One is a flat, where A and B and C basically all are coming in at the same levels. In other words, that the A wave high and the B wave low will not be exceeded within this thing. So we have the start of wave A, the finish of wave A. The B wave starts at that point, goes back down towards the starting point of wave A, and then the C wave will not usually will not exceed, or by much, the top of wave A. So that's the flat. Then there's the zigzag. Now the zigzag suggests that waves A and C will be 5-wave patterns. And in fact, it's a requirement for a zigzag that the waves A and C are 5 waves. So here, as we're counting, and I'm going to come down now, come down to that hourly chart pretty quickly. And well, actually, I got to go up one a little bit larger so I can show more. I got to stick to that 4-hour chart. Sorry about that. So I need to show the internals here. And so we have ABC1, ABC2, ABC3, ABC4, and now we're in minute wave 5, which also will form an ABC, and it will be a zigzag. So within it, wave all the way up, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That finished wave A of minute wave 5. Then we had a very, very complex B wave, which I'm going to go over here in some detail, to put in the B of minute wave 5. So where do we sit? Basically, on my calculation, we are within wave C, minuet wave C of minute wave 5 to complete minute 5, minor 5, intermediate C, and primary wave B. So we are very close. Now, as should be expected, as we reach this dynamic top, the market is really just gaining as the marketplace just kind of flocks in and just forms this triangle, forms this almost parabolic top being formed as it races to reach that top level. And this is something that I've seen many, many times in my trading history within the S&P, the Dow, and the Russell, and also within the NASDAQ. Why they occur? For varied reasons, but they do. And so I continue to look at this as more of sort of a blow-off top, and that'll come more in when I talk about the NASDAQ, which I will do under a separate recording. So I'm going to continue to keep the S&P separate from the NASDAQ. So again, now we're going to come back down out of this 4-hour because I'm going to talk about all of this remains the same. There have been no changes there. So now I'm going to bring it down to the hourly chart so that we can see where's wave 3, wave 4, and now we're into this 5th wave. And I want to break down here because this was very confusing. And there was a point where for a while that it was 1, 2, the 3rd wave was up here, and this was going to be a 4th wave with wave A still in progress. Well, it got too convoluted, to be honest with you. It got too large. That wave 4 is compared to wave 2 got a bit too large, and there was just too many subdivisions underneath. And it took, on a time frame, it got a little bit overextended on a time frame for a 4th wave within an ongoing 5th wave. An ongoing 5 waves up. So, and this is where Sasha comes in because he did this in the NASDAQ, which again, under separate posting, I will detail that one. So what ends up happening in this B wave of minute wave 5, is that it is a series of 3s, but it's many. So we had an ABC, X, ABC, and they formed a W wave. Now, I know this is going to be new for a lot of you because I've not really used these before, but in essence, what we're talking about is a double ABC. So, but I'm going to continue to use this labeling because a lot of people, this is what they are accustomed to. And it just is the new language. Instead of saying it's a double or a triple ABC, it's a WXYZ. Now, with 2 intervening waves. So we actually, on an Elliott basis, can likely call it a ABC, X, ABC, X, ABC, X, ABC. So it almost could be a three, a triple ABC, but we're calling it a W, X, Y, and Z. And but within them, folks, within them, here we have a double. Then we have just a straight ABC, an ABC for the Y, but inside of it, it also broke down into a WXY. So there's a double in there. And then we get another X wave. We get a triangle for an A wave. It's a diagonal. And then we got the B and then a C to form wave Z, and then ultimately put the minuet. These are all on a sub-minuet level, and these are on a sub-sub-minuet level. So the detail is really good, but it just took time to let the market unfold to make sense of it and to then label it so we could put the B wave down there. And then we got this is off of the PCE data, which was reported on Thursday last week. And what did we do? We broke out. So now we are counting 5 waves up for wave C. Remember, zigzag. So wave C will be completing minute wave 5. And again, as I stated, within it, the A waves and the C waves must be 5 waves. It's a zigzag. All of them, the 1, 3, and 5 are a zigzag. So we're getting close. And the difficulty in counting the waves becomes very apparent because the market is attempting to do many things all at the same time and react to what's happening within the component stocks within all of these indexes. So we are, in my opinion, very close. So let's start to add our fibs and see exactly where we are. So within this C wave, now you're going to, because we've got all these tails here, it becomes very difficult. So I'm going to show you what I did to kind of just really get an idea, what have we done? So it basically is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's hard to see on this chart. Let me see if I can bring it down and put it here, and it becomes just a little bit cleaner. So we could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it comes out to be 5 waves up for wave 1, and what we've done is not necessarily taken all of the extremes out, like this one. We took it, that's out, so it cleans it up. But this remains, not all the way down, but the body of the candle is represented on the line chart. So it cleans it up a little bit, makes it much cleaner to see how we're going to get this all the way up to wave 1 here. So there's wave 1, and then we had an ABC down for wave 2, and then we launched again. And yesterday's trade, it was, once it got started to the upside, I'm going to go back out to my hourly chart. Once we got started on the upside, you can see it just did not stop until after basically within the last hour, they began to sell. And as preparation for that expiration that happened yesterday. Now, where are we in this third wave? I believe that this is like within wave 3, and again, I got to come down to that 15-minute chart. I can only really count 3 waves up, and we likely are going to have this 1, 2, 3. This is a small 4, and we should have one more rally up. Now, if that's the case, then I could run a very, oops, I don't want that. I want this. We're going to take a look at where wave 3 can come in, right? So that's wave 1, and we're going to bring it up if indeed the small 4 is complete. So if we say that the 5138.25 did complete the small 4 inside, well then here's our resistance. 41.48, we're looking for more than that because we need to really get above 49. That was the high on Friday, 51.49.25. We need to get above that. So let me just make my adjustment. Get rid of that 618, not going to work. So we have 100% at 51.55. Then we start running into our other, like 618, and this would be, I'm going to go back out again so we can see it on that little bit larger scale. We have the 618, which is going to be for wave C. Now, I'm not expecting this to finish up at 51.58. I am expecting higher levels, but it may provide us some resistance that may complete wave 3. So therefore, I will leave it and include it. But if I'm going to go on the basis of where I think, and I'm going to bring it back down again, because this is how I do it, folks. I just continue to add, right? So here we have that 4. And then 100% of 51.55, okay, that might complete wave 3. Now, but then again, above that, we have 51.58, 59. But then we have 1.618 at 51.65, 66. And then we're running in again. We're coming all the way out to other levels. Back out here. I know it gets confusing, but we gotta go check to see where they're coming in. 618, and that other 618 is minute wave 5. So could minute wave 5, which is also the underlying, this is what ABC is happening, that top comes in 51.79. So again, this is playing double time for us because it's also including where minute wave 5 and then going out. This is the C wave. And this is the minor 5th wave. So we have a lot coming in. And this is now developing into a pretty large cluster of resistance that I believe is going to be the cluster that finishes the move. We have one developing here, but it's sitting all by itself, and that would be the C wave going up and equaling the primary B wave, 1.382. Now, I took down 1.236 for a reason. I'm just going to put it back up to see where it is because it was way down here. So we exceeded that within the A wave of 5, which is why I don't leave it there anymore. But I just wanted to show you because we're now heading to the 1.382 level. Doesn't mean that now we can come in between the two, obviously, because again, as I've discussed, it really comes down to structure here. So I have built fairly strong, and we will have additional once I get the 3 and the 4. So I don't think wave 3 is done yet, but once it gets done, puts in a 4, I will then be able to add one more layer. And we're going to compare these internal wave 1 to wave 5. Right now, I'm actually inside this whole thing. And that's what's giving me, the levels that we have now. So we're going to continue just to break it down and to be very refined inside. And the reason is because we're just really getting closer into clusters that should be able to complete the entire move. Now, so let's just move along and that where we have. So we have the C wave. I don't think that this is going to complete that ABC, right? So the minuet C wave to complete minute wave 5. So we have minute wave 5, 1.618, right here at 51.75. That would be pretty strong for completion, by the way. Now, what else do we have? We have the B wave, 100%, right? 618, equality for the C wave versus the A wave comes in at 52.20. And that sits right underneath the 1.382, which is our next level for the primary B wave. And if we're looking at our trend lines for the expanding triangle, first, they kind of come in right above here. 51.87, but that would have been back there. But it's still, if we're looking here, we're going to start coming in above all of this. So if we fail to hold these levels and we continue to march and we just go right through this, then definitively it's going to be pointing to 52.20 and up towards this upper trend line, which also intersects 52.18. Then we have 20 and we have 25. So that would be the next cluster. If it cannot be contained within this cluster, whether wave 3 kind of gives us an explosion, gets us up in there, and a 4, and then a 5 just moves it. So we still have levels. Remember, right here, we have 100% at 51.55, 1.618 at 51.65, 2.618 at 51.73. So it's there. Now, what can propel this? What will give it that energy that it could get up there? Well, you want to come over and look at the NASDAQ once I get it posted, because within the NASDAQ, it has the ability, and the fibs are lining up where we might, excuse me, have an additional 200 to 300 point day, maybe Monday or Tuesday of next week. So that energy could carry it. And if it pushes it via NVIDIA, Microsoft, AMAT, AMD, just you can go down the list, the Mag 7, Meta, I mean, really strong. Meta closing above 500. Now, that may have had a lot to do with expiration. And so we may start to go down from here. So a lot of things are up in the air. We need to hold. Now, if we start to come down on Monday, we need to hold 51. Let me just open this up. Come on. Sorry about that. Let me just do that again. I'm going to come back down to the 15-minute, but I want to look at the hourly. Those are the ones. I want to look at these hourly moving averages. Okay, so what we have is we closed below the 4, but we have the 8 at 51.33. We have the 20 at 51.20. We have the 50 at 51.04. We really cannot break and consider this a small 4. We can't break below this level, 51.15. So I would think the furthest it can come down on moving average wise is 51.20. Now, if we're just going to be checking out where a fourth wave can go, well, then let me just throw these up. I will take them down because we don't want to leave a bunch of confusion on the chart. We have 236 at 51.35, 382, 51.26. So that would be reasonable if we're just doing this internal, like 1, 2, right? The sub-minuet, wave 4, if I was to put the 3 here. But even on this internal, wait a minute, those are off. I'm off by 1. Let me take those down right away. I'm doing the internal 3. And so that's got to be 1, 2. We're going to put it here. And we're going to go from there. We're going to add that again. I apologize for that. I'm glad I caught it. So it's going to be even higher. So we basically have come down to 236. That may be enough. With 382 is 51.30. 50% is 51.24. So we might break the 8, shove it down towards this one. But again, I'm not looking for this 4 to come that deep. This rally's been strong. There's the wave 1 of this move, the third. That I know it can't break. So yeah, and I really don't want it to break this one either. So I'm going to think that this 4 should hold somewhere in here at the 8 or 382, 51.30. If we're going to see additional pullback, not a whole lot, 8 points. So, and then before we get up here, and then we'll get that larger 4. We'll go through the same exercise though, folks, because what happens then is that then wherever this 3 does complete, then we get that a little bit larger. And I just don't think that it is from the internals. And I can bring it down to the 15-minute chart and show you again. Like inside here, I just don't see that it's quite done. I got a 1, a 2, 3, and this is the 4. So again, it should come in a little bit more because there's the 1 and there's the 2. I can bring that down to there. Activate. and change that up just slightly. And so we got a little bit more. So we have 30, actually 37, 30, and then 51.30, 51.24. That would be, I think, the max that we should do. Somewhere maybe it comes down and touches that 50. So we do have a little bit of room, but that's just a small 4, and we got to rally back. So once we do this, complete this third wave, then we get another 4 and then a 5, and then we'll be able to fill in some blanks. We get more resistance into here. But once again, I cannot discount the potential that we get another strong day in the Mag 7, another strong day out of those stocks that really got pushed on Friday, that they do it again. And I'm going to see what happens from there. Moving averages. Let me take some of this down because we'll have way too many lines to deal with. I'm going to leave that one up. I'm going to come back out here to the hourly chart. On the hourly chart, we see they're all still pretty good. They're all really in alignment to continue to go up. And our trend lines are still doing just fine. So for the S&P, we still have upside left to do, but we're getting close. We're getting close. So I've not, and again, I don't recommend, how to trade or what to trade or when to trade or whatever on that level. But I will say that in my opinion, we are getting close to what I will term a major levels, a major turn lower. Let me just put it that way, because it's going to be a primary C wave and it'll kick off. And what will kick it off is an intermediate degree first wave. And then within that, a minor first wave. So I will be looking for, to give confirmation of this turn, 5 waves down on this hourly chart. And then from there, it'll develop to 5 waves down on a daily chart. And from there, it'll develop into a larger 5 waves down on a weekly chart, which would be the primary degree. So C wave on the primary degree, 5 waves of intermediate degree, starting with up onto the minor degree. We'll have 5 waves of intermediate, then that'll start with 5 waves of minor degree, which will be that first intermediate wave. Okay, I'm going to finish it up right here, get this put up and published, and move on and do the NASDAQ. Again, a lot of this has come through my colleague Sasha Goring's work within the NASDAQ. Again, I'm just going to say here, the trade room, I have moved over to Discord. And so we are opening it to open membership. So it's like whomever would like to come in and trade with us, you're more than welcome. Now, understandably, if you trade the S&P future, then please let me know, because what we can do, or what we would intend to do right now, we're all basically that are in the trade room, we're NASDAQ traders. But if I have enough people that like our analysis and want to come in and trade and day trade the S&P future, or just put a position on spiders or whatever, but to check in on the S&P, then please let me know, because I will add that to our daily analysis within the trade room. Right now, we are focused on the NASDAQ, and it's open membership. And you could go to logical signals trading.com. Look for the trade room tab, go down to the trade room. You can sign up there. And right now the cost is $299 per month. And again, the goal for me and both Sasha, who we are moderating that trade room, is that you can earn the cost of the trade room on the first day or the first 2 days of trading. Right now, my goal is, with our new members, I am showing trades or doing trades that are earning at least $300 or more, and been now successful each day in earning at least that amount of money. So paying for the trade room each day, let's say. So again, if you have an interest in the trade room, www.logicalsignals-trading.com. The next Elliott wave update will actually be on Monday, the 4th of March. I will take a look at the Globex opening tomorrow. And again, if something totally bizarre happens, then I would put in a quick update. Otherwise, the next Elliott wave update will be on Monday, March the 4th.